Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the charts behind me. And so in this video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. And this is all inspired by a comment that I got from Vaz. So thank you for the comment. And the reason why I am going to go over all these tickers is because Vaz not only left me a very nice comment requesting these tickers, but also gave me a super chat or super comment, whatever it is. And, in the banner up at the top, it does say, just above me, memberships and supers. So one way, that's kind of a nice way to support the channel. If you like, you can become a member of the channel. It's 99 cents a month. And that supports the channel, supports my efforts in putting this stuff together. This is something I basically just do as a hobby on top of working a full-time job, as well as trying to keep up with, maintaining the homestead and whatnot, especially during the summer, kind of tough. And with that winding down, I'm pretty busy, and it's tough to be producing content. And, the job also just drains me and whatnot, but I know that, it's the same for all of us. And so the reason why I wanted to do this is because Vaz did give me, a nice little super. And so just to be completely clear with all of you guys, typically whenever I put a video out, if they gets less than 100 views, basically every 100 views is about $1. That's how much a video earns. So if you have a request, there are two ways to do that. One is if you have a request and it's a stock that I typically do cover, I'd be happy to cover it when I have time. If it's kind of an obscure one, like a lot of these I have not heard of them, I will probably save them for Sunday night's Ticker Request Live, which is a live stream that I do where I take requests from subscribers, viewers of the channel, and I go over the charts live. That's basically what I'm going to be doing for this one. And, so that's free. And so if you do have requests, I'm happy to go over stocks then, but I do just request that requests are for one ticker only, just so I can go around and get everybody's requests in. And so going over 6 stocks, that's going to be kind of tough. So this is going to be an unedited video if you haven't figured that out already. And so I just wanted to basically say, if you do have requests and you can't wait until Sunday or you can't make the live stream, one way to get a request is by putting in the live chat when I do create the live stream. I try to do it at least a couple hours before it goes live, which is 9 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. You can just mention in the live chat the tickers that you'd like me to go over, or just the one ticker you'd like me to go over, and then I can go over it, and then you can, find it in the stream after the fact. Another way is to join, for the live stream. It's really fun. I usually have a drink, just basically me hanging out with people in the chat going over the charts. So I think it's a really nice way to just kind of like share ideas because I am not, if you don't know, I am not an expert at trading or technical analysis. This is basically just a hobby of mine. I enjoy doing it. I have fun doing it. And it's really nice to be bouncing ideas off of you guys and vice versa. And so, that's kind of how I view the channel. And so I think that's one of the best things about the channel is Sunday night Ticker Request Live, 9 p.m. Eastern. But if you can't wait for that and, you want to support the channel, you can give me a super and I will try to get a video out on your tickers, or you could become a member, 99 cents a month, and then you get perks like, I do make some content for members, but I have to say, because I'm busy with all this other stuff, it is fairly limited. Usually I try to, basically share some trades, typically in and outs of some options every week, just to kind of share what I'm doing, sharing some ideas. So I think that's a really nice way to contribute to the channel and to, get some requests. Otherwise, videos that on requests, they don't always perform that well. But if, I'm getting like $1, $2, whatever, donation, a super, to go over a ticker, I'd be happy to do it. I would try to do it. But do note that videos take about an hour to make. So if it's a request for an obscure ticker and it might take me an hour to do it, or if the video is half an hour long, consider that. And so, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. If you guys are curious what this video is about, this is just based on a request that I got a super for. And so I thought I'd do it. But I should note, too, that I am working Wednesday and Thursday this week, 12-hour shifts. They exhaust me. And so I probably will be slow to do more requests, but I am not working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so if there are any requests based on supers, memberships, whatever, I'd be happy to do those videos over the weekend. So just let me know in the chat, if you'd like that, or in the comments, I should say, since this is not a live stream. But just like Ticker Request Live, this is just a casual me going over some charts. And so I'm going to go over these starting now. I will have timestamps to all of them. Probably should have noted that at the beginning, but what can you do? And so with that being said, I'm going to start with the first ticker, which is ACHR Aviation, ticker symbol ACHR. This is actually one that was requested on Sunday, and I ended up establishing a very small position, as my new positions typically are, in ACHR. And so let's see, I'm just going to zoom in on the chart. So on Sunday, basically following Friday, so on Sunday between, when that channel is and over here, that's when I drew that during Sunday night's live stream. I picked up, I think, 10 shares around 307, and then I decided, well, I'm going to add another 10 if it goes to 3. I'll add another 10 if it goes back to 3. And now I don't have an order placed to buy anymore. I have 30 shares at an average price of $3.02, I believe. And my stop loss level is just below this low that was hit on Thursday, September 26th. And so that low was $2.82, and my stop loss is at $2.80 for all 30 of my shares. So again, not a big position, but just to be transparent, that's what I'm doing with this one. And the reason why I'm doing that, I thought this was just a nice example or a nice way to kind of test, well, there's a low. Hopefully we don't test it. If we do test it, we're probably going lower. Maybe there's a little bit of a fake out, but maybe not. That just seems like, a nice stop loss level. So I have a stop loss at 280. I'm not worried about risking that. If I do lose that difference, not a big deal. But I could see that this does have some potential to get to the top of these channels that I have drawn here. So let me just take a step back or adjust the axes here so we can see that a little bit better. And so this parallel channel that I have drawn here is based on these two pivot lows and then the pivot high over here. And so my thoughts are, that we've seen it being tested over here as support. Only saw it getting tested up here as resistance once. Maybe we are going to go back up there. This actually reminds me a lot of the Unity software chart back in June, I believe. First video I did on it, it's the purple thumbnail. I'd recommend checking it out. I think it's a really great video. I wish, actually, I think my y-axis is logarithmic, so crap. That probably maybe affected the Tilray analysis that I did, I wonder. But anyways, now it's linear, so that's good. We can see that, the bottom of the channel approximately tested as support, top approximately tested as resistance, and I could see price getting back up there, as it does look like there might be a double bottom here. But if not, I'm not risking that much. And, with this, I could see it coming down to test the bottom of the channel. That's a downside risk of about 35%. To the top, that's about a 50% swing. And so for me, and you do you, everybody's different. I just established a position. I am risking about 6% or so to actually, I guess I'd be going a little bit lower. Let's see, to 280. Right around there, I'm risking about 7 to 8%, somewhere around there. And that's something that I'm fine with. So, just wanted to share that. But this, I think it's kind of tough, I'm just thinking, I'm hoping that this is really kind of like a triple bottom, I guess, with a fake out here. And then I'm hoping that holds as support. But if it doesn't, if it breaks below 282, if it breaks below, crosses through 280 and my stop is filled, then I think that there's potentially a 35% downside. So I do think that this is risky. And also with what's going on in the world right now, This one does strike me as a fairly speculative play. These are, I believe they're like kind of like personal helicopters, something like that. I invested in ACHR years ago, I think in like 2021, and I think I lost a little bit of money on it, but it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just, a pretty speculative, kind of like a luxury play. And that's what all of these are. I believe they're all kind of like personal aerospace, personal helicopter drone type of thing, where it's like a large drone that you sit inside and fly around. So I think this is all pretty speculative. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my analysis there with this downtrend. And, maybe if I connect these lows, that will tell us something. But I think ultimately this is probably going to be above current. Actually, no. I mean, this is maybe something to be paying attention to. Just wanted to get it to connect to that low there. And so let's just make sure those pivot points are right. Looks about right. Yeah, so I mean, I could see this. Maybe it doesn't come down all the way to the bottom of the channel on this drawdown, just like over here. It didn't go all the way to the top. And so, maybe this comes down, let's see, from current price, maybe it comes down about 20% and finds support there. And so the way that I drew that uptrend, if you're curious to draw it on your own chart, I drew that based on the low from December 27th of 2022, which was at $1.62, and then also from the low of April 25th, 2023. So that is how I draw that line. I'm just going to lock it in place. And so, yeah, I'd be happy to follow up on this during Sunday night's Ticker Request Live if you'd like me to. So make sure you join for that. But now I am going to move on to the next ticker, which is Vertical Aerospace Ltd, ticker symbol EVTL. And so this one strikes me as, I would say, a bit of a gamble. It just seems like it's been kind of fading into nothing. It seems like, the kind of stock that just reverse splits into nothing, kind of like Mullen Automotive. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I'd stay away from that stock. If you're holding it, I'd get rid of it. It seems like a real kind of scam. But anyways, this is a 1 for 10 reverse split, so that's not too outrageous. If it was a 1 for 100, that would be, kind of a red flag, I would say. But, aside from that, this does seem like it's bleeding a lot. And just to think, if price were to come back up to these highs, it's probably going to be a crazy amount to the upside. That's 1,500% to the upside. So yeah, that's a pretty big move, going from about $7 a share up to, around 115. So personally, I feel like this is probably one to skip. And we can actually, maybe it's good to compare the market caps of these, because maybe that would suggest that one is valid, whereas the other one is not. So ACHR over 1 billion, I feel a little bit more comfortable with that. Whereas EVTL, the market cap is 151 million. That seems like, I wouldn't even pay attention to it. If this is the same type of company as ACHR, I feel like they're going to need more capital than 150 million to stay afloat. And so they're probably going to be doing more of these reverse splits. And I think that this bleeding will likely continue. But, regardless of that, maybe I'm wrong. Let's do a little bit of some levels here. So I'm just going to draw from the low over there to over here. This is just approximate, but that does show higher lows. So I think that is good that we got a bounce there. And let's see. We can also do, from the top here to the bottom here, I'm just going to do a quick Fibonacci retracement to highlight some levels that might be of significance. And so I'm just going to add them in here. You can see how these are added. These are just the standard levels, but I added 65% because then that makes this nice little golden pocket here between the 618 and the 65%. And I think that's kind of a nice level to, hope for a stock to dip to if it's on the way down, or to retrace to find resistance there on the way up. And so this actually looks like it bumped into resistance around the 382. Also does kind of correspond with the lows that were over here. And yeah, I mean, we've got all of this consolidation here. So that just strikes me as, let's say I'm just going to draw a box around it. This is going to be some tough resistance to get above. We're kind of in the middle of it. And yeah, even when getting above that, there's still, this consolidation here found that the top of that as support. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of upside battle for this one. But I guess, getting up to the lows here, maybe around 780 approximately there. The 50% retracement here is at 785. So I feel like maybe that's a reasonable level for it to get up to. But overall, I feel like this stock looks pretty not so great. I feel more confident in ACHR Aviation. But, everybody's different. So maybe this is a little bit better. This does look like, as far as looking at the MACD, that this is, red, so it might flip over to green. But this doesn't seem like it's going too sharply from red to green or negative to positive. And so I think that this could be another kind of like little green phase here. This could fade out before going back lower. And actually thinking about that, let's see, we've got, this is I'm just trying to see it. Maybe there's some bearish divergence here, something that stands out. But it does look like, for the most part, I mean, this is a higher high in the stock price, whereas this was a lower high. So I think that's actually hidden bearish divergence, or maybe that's bearish divergence. I'm not sure. When it's on the tops, that's bearish. When it's on the bottoms, that's bullish. But I also think it's good to take that with a grain of salt. It's quite possible this could be forming a bull flag, so I'd look for it to hold above 650. Also, that being kind of, in the way that we exchange money, $6.50. That's kind of a psychological level at the 236 there. So if we get a close below 650, I feel like this is probably going to head back down to 530. But if we hold above 650, I think there's a shot at getting to 785. But I think overall, that is like the upside that I would look for. But again, I don't have a position in this or any of these other ones. The only one I do have a position is ACHR. But yeah, I mean, this one does just seem, fairly speculative. So hopefully that's helpful. Sorry, I'm going through it a little quick, but, just really like looking at the chart like this, I want to avoid it because it's just been bleeding. Whereas ACHR Aviation, it's got some more to it. This should be the same time frame going back to the 16th, the 15th of March there. And so, yeah, same time frame. This has just been bleeding where ACHR has had some dynamics. If we go over to New Horizon, ticker symbol HOVR, 42 cents, market cap of 10.25 million. This seems way too risky for me. And in all honesty, maybe there's a squeeze play here or something, but that's just total speculation. This is just, and for the spirit of being able to compare to the next one and the prior ones, I'm just going to leave this here. I'm not actually going to do any analysis on this one. Down 9% today. And if we take a measurement from, up here, that's down 97%. So, maybe it's the bottom, but maybe this was the bottom over here when it was down 90% and it's just continued to bleed. So I think this one is one to avoid. If you're building these, personal piloted drone type plane things, I don't know what they're called exactly, but this aircraft, you're a company that builds aircraft and your market cap is 10.25 million. I'm sorry. I think that this is a bad investment. But those are just my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this squeezes up to $10 a share. But I think that it's the risk is much greater than the reward here. Let's look over at, I believe, Joby Aviation. This is, the same time frame as the other ones, going back to, let's see, is that approximately the same time frame, going back to like March over here. So there's a little bit more, dynamics to this. The market cap is 3.44 billion. So I actually feel much better about this one than the last two that I went over. And so I should mention Joby Aviation, ticker symbol JOBY. And so let's look at this. It hasn't really been going too crazy. A thing that I think is nice about this one, though, is maybe we have something here with the downtrend from these highs. And so let's look at that. That's a level that we want to be breaking above. And actually, I'm just going to lock that into place so it doesn't move. Maybe it does. And then maybe we can connect these lows. It does look like we would have broken below that, I imagine, but maybe not. Yeah. So that didn't look so good. Here we broke below those lows, that trend line, and then bounced, pulled back, retraced to the scene of the crime, got rejected, and then, came up to here at the pivot point, and then now we've broken down. So this structure doesn't really look that great to me. It looks like, this looks like it's a pretty big bear flag. And these, let's see, is this 5 green candles? It went up from the start of, let's see, September 9th up to the end of the 13th, went up 13%, and then it's just given back all of those gains. So I feel like that's not such a great sign. And just let's go back a little bit more in time. I think this one looks pretty weak, but I do think that, maybe it could come back up to that trend line. Maybe that trend line is not significant, but that's like a potential like 30% move to the upside. But it does seem like, it's just, I feel like this trend line's got to be significant, especially because like we did retrace to it, tested that as resistance, got a little bit of a fake out up here, but then formed a double top there, from here over to here, double top. And so I don't think that looks so good, but maybe there's something that, like inverse head and shoulders. Is there anything here? No, I don't think so. But so one thing that I can do, as is typical, I can do a Fibonacci retracement from that low to the high here. And so, yeah, we're actually trading below the 786. So I feel like, the next level that maybe it could come down to, find some support, because it does look like, maybe it is at support. We got the consolidation here that it's just under. If you look at where the cursor is, we're right there. And so that's, 480, the top's over here. Maybe there's some support, but I feel like it's more likely to come down to around 440. Maybe it finds some support with this little bit of a double top there that might be acting as support, but it does seem likely that, maybe it's going to be coming down to 4, if not lower, and maybe coming down to, let's see, I can adjust this retracement a little bit. 315 is the low there, and the high, I should actually probably adjust this there. Either way, we are trading below that 786. So yeah, this one looks like, it's pulled back, and this is just trying to like bore people out of their positions. Even, here when the MACD was green, it only went up that like 13% or whatever it is. And even while it's green, it's, pulled back. And so I think, considering the RSI, that's around 38.26, following this down move of about 4.5% on the day today. I think that it's probably got to dip, the RSI has got to dip below 30 before this can, be completely oversold and then start to get bought up again, start to reverse. So one thing that I can draw is based on these lows here. Maybe there's some support there. I think that's a little bit of hope based on the low from August 5th, when the markets came down, and I'm imagining this is September 6th. Those were just both kind of lows. With what's going on in the world, I feel like we're going to be seeing another dip around, the first week of the month, like we have the past couple months. So maybe that's something to be paying attention to, or be, concerned about a little bit. And then also I'm just going to connect this. Yeah, this, actually, I'm pretty compelled by this. But, when you get multiple tests of a level, it's less likely to hold up, the more it gets tested. And so here there's the low at 450, and then the low here on the 5th of August. And so that's that trend line. And then we got a test of it on September 6th. And it looks like we're getting a test of it right now. And so I would say, maybe a good way to look at this is if we see a close below this low, 470, not only would that be putting in a lower low, but if we get a close below this, that could be, a signal that this is going red, this is going lower. And also to note that the MACD did just flip red on today's move, coming down 4.57%. So something to consider there. And yeah, I mean, of these so far, I'm most compelled by the ACHR Aviation, but I also do have a stop loss in that. So, yeah, that's just what I'm doing there. But I'll go on to the next one, which is Lilium NV, ticker symbol LILM. And so this one does have a market cap of 481 million. So it's not, 10 million. So I feel a little more comfortable with this. I don't like that it's trading in the cents. I don't like that it's trading below $1. For me, in my brokerage, Webull, if a stock is trading below $1, I have to buy in 100 share increments. And, that's not a lot of money for this stock, but I feel like it's just a little bit speculative. So I don't really like that too much about it. And so I'm just going to draw a trend line from this low and then over here. So just, pretty similar to Joby, had these lows here, broke below, kind of retested that level. It looked like it was going to hold above, and now it's broken below. And so this potentially, has an upside move of about 35% to test that line. Of course, that being approximate. But, I think that this doesn't look too strong, but maybe I should be a little bit fair, and maybe there's but I just to be honest, I don't see a parallel channel here with ACHR. This seems like there's a little bit more structure with that it is in this channel, whereas LILM, it seems like it's in a wedge, so maybe I should draw that. Again, this just being kind of approximate. If I do that, that's a little too steep, broke out of it over here. So I think something like that. This, I think drawing it over here, that's just going to be kind of like hopium that's going to hold, but maybe there is something there. This was a double top rejection, or, a little bit more, a little bit less than that, I guess. It didn't get all the way up to the highs here. But yeah, maybe there is something with that. And if I do a Fibonacci retracement, I don't know, it's supposed to be magnetic and stick to, those levels, but sometimes it doesn't. There, that is the low. And so we can see with this one, this is actually above the 786. So I would say I feel a little bit more comfortable with this one than I do with Joby. So, take that as you like. I think this looks stronger just because, looking at this time frame, I think they're probably going to look pretty similar. But this one's trading below the 786. This one is not. So I think that Lilium, I think that this looks better than Joby. But now let's move on to the final one, which is Paramount Global, ticker symbol PARA. Hopefully this is the correct one. I was a little bit worried it was Paramount like the Hollywood studio. But let's see what's going on with this. Let's see, the market cap 7 billion. So this is the largest one that I've looked at so far. Joby being the next up, 3.5 billion, followed by ACHR at 1 billion. Paramount here. Let's take a look at this. Also, this does have, maybe I just don't know where I'd start this. I'm just going to approximately start from the low there. Go like that. Yeah, so maybe there is this parallel channel here. It is in the upper portion of that. And by parallel channel, I should mention that this is a trend channel. And so if I do, pull up the details of that, we can see that it is based on one standard deviation. If I do two standard deviations, that's going to be including, more or less all of that variation, whereas one is not, but, it sets kind of this boundary. And so given that it's in the upper portion of this, I feel like there's more risk than there is to reward, because it doesn't have as much room to get to the top of this than it does to the downside. If it tests the bottom of that channel, you'd be losing a lot. And this, yeah, so I mean, I think, let's see, maybe I could extend this out further. Yeah, it's still, it's in the top portion of that. So I feel like this is just a little bit more risky than ACHR. I am, of course, biased, though, because I hold that, and I was not aware of these other companies before I bought it. So take that with a grain of salt. But this, crap, it didn't stick to the bottom. But let's see here. Yeah, I mean, actually, I kind of like that. The low from October 26th of last year got a wick below it, but does look like it held up as support. And then, kind of like almost a double bottom here, or I guess a double bottom, but didn't come down to that level here, down to that level. And it looks like, yeah, right there from the low of June 18th of this year. And so maybe that's a level that we retrace to if we, go lower. Maybe it doesn't go to the bottom of this trend channel. Maybe it just goes back to the middle. That's a downside risk of about 15%, or upside is about 20. So yeah, and then we also do have potential, let's see, downtrend from here. Maybe this just broke out. Maybe this is not anything, though. Yeah, I feel like better to err on the side of not anything, because I just adjusted that and there's no breakout, and we haven't seen a confirmation of a breakout, which would be like a lot of strength. We've seen the green MACD here, but when it was able to come up, let's see, about 8, almost 10%, but this doesn't seem very strong, not much volume holding it up. So I feel like this could be heading back down, maybe to test this one last time. Maybe it breaks lower, maybe it breaks out. But yeah, I guess I'll just do a retracement, I guess from here. I mean, it did pull up to right around the, let's see, this is, okay, well, I actually want to do this differently. I want to draw a retracement from the high here to the low over here, and that would suggest, levels what we might be bouncing to, reclaiming. And so we attempted to get above the 236, but couldn't hold it. That's right around the price of, let's see, you can see that the bottom one is not lined up just right with that low, so maybe it's going to skew the numbers a little bit. That should be lined up there, should all be lined up. That's going to be a price of for the 236 right around 1131. We couldn't hold above it. We couldn't sustain price action above there. And then we pulled back lower. That acted as resistance. And now there's this downtrend. So I feel like it's likely to be retesting about 950. So yeah, even though the market cap's really large in this, and maybe it's getting ready to break out. Ooh, and actually, maybe I did know about this. I don't know what the ticker was before, but I apparently did cover it back here, back in the day when I used light purple to draw these ugly lines. But yeah, clearly price was a lot higher. And, I saw that there was a gap up there, I think. And yeah, I'm not sure what this ticker was before, but I think that it's pretty beaten down. Maybe it's getting ready for a breakout. So I would look for, a move to and close above 1131. That could be suggesting that a breakout's happening. If that does happen, though, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a retest of this level as support before going higher. So maybe a good level to keep an eye on is going to be like the lows from over here, so right around $9.90, or maybe just $10 a share. That might be a good one to keep an eye on. But now I am just going to switch back to ACHR and just, kind of considering this. Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like this one just has a very, very clear line in the sand at 282, and I'm going just 2 cents below that 280. For my trade, again, only 30 shares, so a very small one. And so that's, for me in managing my risk, that's how I've chosen to do this one. I just wasn't aware of the other ones. But yeah, I mean, this has that lower low. Maybe that was like a spring and this is going to go higher, or maybe not. And that's a sign that this is going to go lower. I got that stop loss there. EVTL, just doing kind of a recap. Yeah, I mean, this Let's see. I think, it just seems like, it's fading a lot. HOVR, same thing. Didn't even want to spend any time on it. JOBY. This, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't really have I guess actually this, 470, that's maybe a nice stop loss level, or maybe 466. And, maybe it would then be holding this trend line. But if it does break below, if it pulls to 466, that's a good stop loss level. So maybe there's a nice play here. I kind of like that as a play. Not going to be participating in this one. I can't be in too many speculative things. And if I do, they're going to be small positions, like 30 of the ACHR shares that I have. LILM, this looks, actually, I think I was saying this looks, yeah, it looks better than Joby, but there's this trend line here. So I think that, and these lows like 466, something to trade off of. LILM, this is the market cap. Oh, no, which one had the, yeah, this is the market cap of 10 for HOVR. Stay away from that one. Or at least I am definitely staying away from that one. This one, let's see. This is above the 786 there. Does look like it bounced on that uptrend. So yeah, I mean, maybe this has a stop loss at around 64.5 cents. But again, since this is in the change part of the spectrum, I don't like it for that reason. So I'm staying away from this one. And this one, I guess the stop loss level, like I think I had mentioned, is 990. So, hopefully that is helpful. And, you'll have to let me know if you do enjoy this kind of video. If people want request that I do videos, just, become a member or send me a super, and I'll try to work it into my schedule, but it might be kind of tough to do Wednesday and Thursday. I'd probably be able to do that Friday. But anyways, as usual, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content like this and become a member. And, if you want to give supers, I don't expect it, but you can. I always appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, this video took me about 37 minutes to record, so just kind of factor that in. Going over tickers does take time, and we can always do that on Sundays for Ticker Request Live at 9 p.m. Eastern. Take care, you guys, and thank you for the request and the super. I do appreciate it a lot. Take care.